Hello, how's it going? So recently, I had an opportunity to do some certifications. Some may know and some may not. Oracle ran a promotion from July through October where you could get free training and free certifications through Oracle University. And I didn't know about it. So some months ago, I had applied for a job with Oracle. Early in 2025, I applied for a job with Oracle and I didn't get the job, but it put me in their database. And so I had started getting emails from Oracle about new job opportunities and new things that are going on with Oracle. And over time, you see these emails so often that you start to just tune them out. And I didn't unsubscribe from those emails, but they would come into my inbox about once a month. So it just so happened I got an email from Oracle in late September, and I vaguely saw the first few lines that said race to certification, like, running a race to certification. And I was so busy and I had other things going on. I just, it just didn't register in my mind what that was. And I just moved on. I think I even deleted it at one point. I don't know if I deleted it or I don't know. But here's the funny thing. Okay. This was an opportunity to get free certifications. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. But that's not what I knew or what I thought at the time. So I watched this YouTube channel, Elevate to the Unknown. And it's hosted by a gentleman named Antoine Wade. He's some kind of executive. I guess he's a sales executive. Anyway, Elevate to the Unknown. Antoine Wade hosts a daily morning show. The topic of this show is about success. It's about leveling up, hence the name of the channel, Elevate to the Unknown. So he's talking a lot about layoffs. He's talking about industry changes. He's talking about things that are going on in the world. And while he's doing that, he's also showcasing people that have bucked the trends, people that have gotten job offers, people that, despite everything that's going on with companies laying off people and huge, shredding of payrolls and all this stuff that's going on, that there are people that are succeeding despite that. They're either starting companies, they are going out and they are promoting themselves, they're taking advantage of the positions that they have in corporate. There's one lady, I think she was from Germany. She became a social media manager, I believe, for Deloitte. And long story short, she became so successful in that position that she was able to spin that off into her own company. So Antoine presents stories like this on a daily basis. And so I'd only started plugging into Antoine about, I guess, a month and a half ago. And I was like, he's on to something. He's showing you the brutal reality, but he's also showing a solution. How do you fix the brutal reality for you personally? You may not be able to solve the world's problems, but sometimes you can solve yours, and that's a step in the right direction. So while he was discussing these success stories, he was also showing the opportunity through certifications. He talks often about how you build your profile and build yourself for success in this digital era that we're in. And so I was like, okay, those are some good tips. Those are some really good tips and things to keep in mind. But he started talking about the Oracle race to certification. And I had ignored it. And I had ignored it so much that by the second week of October, I was like, running it through the back of my mind, it's like, I got 20 years of IT experience. Surely I could do something with this. But then I said, nah, I can't. I don't have time for it. That was the main thing. I was like, I don't have time to do this. So what I did instead was I would watch his show every couple of days. And, I was like, all right, there's some good ideas there. But he was talking about this certification. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can give it a little bit of time. So as it so happens that when I finally made up my mind to do it, it was the last week of October. And so Sunday, I believe it was Sunday, was that October the 26th? It was crunch time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go ahead and start this process. And I didn't know what I was getting into, but it ended up being a grueling process because it's not just going in and getting a certification. You have to study. You have to go through courses. You have to watch videos. You have to do practice tests and practice exams and labs. And some of those courses are anywhere from 6, some were 12 hours. And there was one that I thought was pretty interesting that was like 23 hours. And keep in mind, the promotion ran out midnight, October 31st. So from the 26th to the 31st, I'm trying to get the certifications and I'm working a full-time job. And so balancing the two was a real struggle. But I found a way to make it work. And one of the ways I made it work was, even though I have to work late sometimes, I would just take my tablet and I would just go through the courses on my tablet. So I would lay down and go through the courses on the tablet at the same time. And so that was one thing that helped late at night, because it's not often that you want to, sit at a computer well into like 2 or 3 in the morning. But being on a tablet until 2 or 3 in the morning is a little more manageable. And so that was one of the strategies that I used. The other strategy that I used was that I'll tell you that in just a minute. First, let me show you some of these certifications. So one of the certifications that I got is I got the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure certification. What the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure certification does is it tells you about the different aspects of cloud setup, cloud capabilities, cloud configuration, and the way that you can ensure the availability, the performance, and security of cloud applications and infrastructure for your organization. And so one of the things about that was Oracle Cloud Infrastructure certification comes in different levels. And that particular course, if I remember correctly, was about 22 hours. So, or that's Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Architect. That's about 23 hours. So I was like, I'm really interested in that, but it didn't fit within the time budget. And I like to do all of my my courses in a single sitting. So if I got a stretch of 4 hours or 8 hours, or if I could break it up into, 4 hours here and 4 hours there, that works better for me if I can do that within the same 12-hour period. But for a course like OCI Architect, at the last minute, that would have stretched multiple days, and it would have undermined other possibilities. And so instead of putting all my eggs in one basket, what I did is I took a third of the OCI Architect course, and taking a third of that course where it was more in-depth and more rigorous, I was able to apply that to some of the other courses, and it made my ability to go through those courses much better, or it improved my ability to go through those courses. So I was glad about that. The next certification that I was able to get was the Oracle Data Platform certification. And so Oracle Data Platform, that basically gives you a good guide through the Oracle database technology, and how you can use that database in more productive ways. So you have a database capability called the Autonomous Database, which makes database technology more approachable to those that are not as in-depth with SQL or working with tables, views, store procedures, and that sort of thing. Keep in mind that I already had 5 to 6 years of Oracle database experience from a couple of years ago. And so this was something that was very approachable to me, but I was interested in what the 2025 version of Oracle database looks like. And it has come quite a ways since I last used it in 2009. So I had last used Oracle database in 2009. I used it from 2001 to 2005, and then I used it again in 2009. And so I was quite familiar with PLSQL, store procedures, packages, and setting up and administering an Oracle database. And so this was a certification course that allowed me to see if those skills were still relevant and to update them for 2025. So I was quite pleased with that. And then the third certification that I got was Oracle Oracle Cloud Infrastructure AI certification. And so with Oracle AI Cloud certification, I was able to learn AI from Oracle's point of view. And it was very, very enlightening. So I saw aspects of AI that I was exposed to through YouTube videos, through using ChatGPT for, let's say, nearly 3 years, and just being immersed in much of the talk around generative AI, such as prompting. And it answered questions that I still had about generative AI, and I was glad that I went through that course. And then my final certification that I got, the one that I am the most proud of, is the Oracle Vector Search Professional. So vector search was something that I was very interested in and didn't realize it. So vectors is a general concept, and vectors represent, generally, you could say it represents many things. But if you look at it from a geometry standpoint, it represents a length, magnitude, and other attributes, depending on if you're talking about speed, if you're talking about simple 3-dimensional or 4-dimensional configurations. And so an understanding of vector from a geometrical standpoint, where, let's say you're building user interfaces. I've built user interfaces in C++ on Linux, where an understanding of vector as a concept and using that with 2-dimensional mathematics and basic algebras allowed me to construct those user interfaces with a much greater level of efficiency. But I also understood from some YouTube videos that vectors are used in the data for AI. So the data for AI uses vectors, and that makes a lot of sense because vectors is basically a way of setting up, and this is my own language. This is not the language of the course material in Oracle, but vectors is a way of setting up coordinates between different data elements. So when you think about it that way, then vectors can be universally applied to hash maps. It could be universally applied to various indexing strategies and indexing algorithms where you have a span of data and you want to know at which point in that data you need to access, right? And do it in the most consistent and efficient way. And so tied to that is what you have. You've all heard the term now, language models. Well, there are different language models, and different language models process data in different ways. So they're not interchangeable. OpenAI's ChatGPT data model is not the same as Anthropic's Claude's data model. And those are not the same as Olama and so on. So you need to make sure that the algorithms that you use, the algorithms that you use and the data that you use, I actually wanted to say algorithms and then data. I like put data on this side. This is my right side, this is my left side. So you want the algorithms and the data to be aligned, all right? And so Oracle has set up a very useful data type. It seems simple. So a vector data type, it has dimensionality and it has a numerical format. So you can have up to 65,000 dimensions or points in the vector data type in Oracle. And then you can have one of three format types, int 8, float 32, and float 64. You can use a synonym for that, numeric or float, right? And so you can do that, or you can also declare the vector data type as having any number of dimensions and any format, right? So it operates more like a variant data type in the Visual Basic language or in the JavaScript language, where you can make it more flexible. But of course, if you do that, then the vector isn't going to be as easily indexable, and it's going to be it will allow you to get back results faster but with less accuracy. So there's a trade-off there, right? But if you want faster results that are also accurate, then you would want to specify dimensionality and format. So I learned many things about model embeddings and vector embeddings and aligning that to models through that course. And it's something that I could use outside of just Oracle, right? The actual concepts at a detailed level, it applies to just building software applications in general, building data solutions in general, where you want to consider things like temporality. You want to consider things such as you want to incorporate a spatial, use spatial reasoning and apply a spatial conceptual model to the data aligned to real world operational circumstances. The list is nigh endless. So that was my short talk on my certification journey. It was one where I had to basically I had to lock it in, right? I had to really lock it in. This wasn't like when I'm reading technical books and studying and preparing for some project that I'm doing. This was very time constrained. and I passed all my exams. And it was, and I have to confess, I did not know if I was going to pass the exams when I took them. Um, maybe one of them I said, okay, I'm definitely going to pass this exam. But I didn't know if I was going to pass the vector search exam or the cloud foundations exam. I was very sure about data platform. I was very sure about that. And I was somewhat warm about the AI foundations, but I passed all the exams, and now I am Oracle certified. So if you've listened to the beginning of this and the end of this, you should know that if you want to go out there and get certifications, you can. There is no real barrier other than what sacrifices you're willing to make. And the sacrifices I had to make don't really come out in this discussion. You don't see the staying up until 2 and 3 in the morning and what effect that has on you trying to work during the day, and how you're overdoing that steadily over several days. How that can start to really wear on your mind, and you need recovery room, but there's really no recovery room, right? And so I'm glad it's just a week. I hope Oracle does the certification promotion next year, because I've already talked with ChatGPT and made a plan for next year where I'm going to watch out for the start of that promotion, because if it is possible, then I'm going to get the OCI Architect certification next year and be fully cloud certified on an architect level. I'm also going to get a few other certifications that I have planned, and so I'm going to get ready for that, and strive to go through the exams with greater efficiency and with greater acumen than I was able to this time. And it's a lesson about, okay, you got to pay attention to things that are going on out there, and when opportunities show up, you need to act on them as early as possible to maximize what you can gain out of those opportunities. Because while I did get 4 certifications this time around, think about how far I would have gotten had I started earlier, right? And I'm the type of person, I do want to know everything. So I'm not landlocked on a particular path. I want to know everything about cloud. I want to know everything about data. I want to know everything about development. I want to know everything about project planning, and so on and so forth, and leadership and all of that. So for me, the certifications unlocked something in me. It unlocked an even higher level of curiosity and a desire to pursue this course. And so now, in the meantime, I'm going to pursue other certifications, and I've already laid those out. And I don't know if I'm going to talk about those in the future, but this was my first attempt at certifications in quite some time, and I'm pretty proud of what has been accomplished. So I'm going to have links in the description and in the comment section. And if you have any questions, you let me know. But until I see you again, I'll see you again.